Welcome to the AI Edge for Entrepreneurs, the podcast that believes AI doesn't have to be scary, stiff, or sound like a motivational speaker who's never met you. I'm Megan Coulter, and I help smart, scrappy business owners use custom GPTs to save time, delegate better, and sound like themselves. No bro marketing, no prompt packs, just practical tools with personality. Before we even start today's episode, I want to say something very clearly. If you have ADHD, this episode is for you. If you suspect you might have ADHD, but you're not officially diagnosed, this episode is for you. And honestly, if you've never even considered yourself as someone who possibly has ADHD, but your brain feels chaotic, scattered, or different in any way, welcome. I am so glad you're here. This episode is for you. For most of my life, I never thought that it was possible I could have ADHD. I did well in school, I paid attention, I could sit still, relatively. I am a leg jiggler, a necklace spinner, and a constant hair twirler. But the picture of ADHD I knew was of little boys bouncing around classrooms, so I never considered that my struggles might fit the definition too. And maybe some of these symptoms feel familiar to you too, even if you've never labeled them that way. You find yourself regularly overwhelmed by tasks that other people seem to manage effortlessly. You often forget things, lose track of time, or completely lose objects, like your keys or your phone. Again, you swing between intense, obsessive productivity and days where getting anything done feels impossible. You have moments where starting simple things, answering an email, scheduling an appointment, making a quick phone call, feels weirdly insurmountable. You've felt that deep shame of lying in bed thinking about everything that you should be doing, but feeling completely unable to start. If you recognize yourself here, diagnosed or not, your experience is valid. Self-diagnosis is often necessary, especially for women who are frequently diagnosed later or never at all. Our experiences are often misunderstood, labeled as anxiety, depression, or even laziness. And I'm right here with you. Here's what this looks like for me. I open my laptop to do something simple, write an email or record a podcast, but my brain instantly lights up with 17 other things. Suddenly I'm Googling vacation rentals, reorganizing my desktop, or reheating coffee for the third time. And then I have a tiny window before preschool pickup, and I honestly can't remember if I ate breakfast or lunch today. And here's the thing. A brain wired for constant ideas, constant movement, constant novelty can be absolutely amazing when you run your own business. But there's also another side to it, right? The one that we talk about less openly. And that's the overwhelm that hits when the ideas won't stop coming and you can't turn off the tap, even when you desperately need to sleep. Or the frustration when you look around at your half-finished projects and you wonder why finishing feels so much harder than starting. Or how one day you struggle to focus and the next day you've got the opposite problem. Your focus is maybe a bit too intense. Hyperfocus can be magic. It can also be exhausting. And I used to think that something was genuinely wrong with me because traditional productivity advice never seemed to stick. It took me a long time, and honestly, quite a bit of embarrassment and frustration, even shame, to realize that the problem wasn't me. It was just that my brain wasn't wired for those tools. A recent study found that around 29% of entrepreneurs either have ADHD or show strong ADHD-like traits. Just for context, only about 5 to 7% of the general adult population has ADHD. So to make that even clearer, here's what that looks like practically. Almost 1 out of every 3 entrepreneurs is navigating business and life with ADHD. Whereas when we zoom out and look at the population in general, only about 1 out of every 20 adults has ADHD. Think about how significant that is. 1 out of 3 entrepreneurs and 1 out of 20 in the general population. That's a huge gap. And it speaks volumes about how uniquely suited ADHD brains can be to entrepreneurship. Now, when you stop and think about it, this actually makes perfect sense, right? Because entrepreneurship, building your own thing, creating your own rules, is kind of the dream scenario for an ADHD brain. Here's why. 1, creativity. Maybe you're someone who's always confidently identified as creative. You've known since childhood that your brain thrives on imagination, innovation, and creating something new. Or maybe you're like me, and creativity is a word that you've struggled to claim. Growing up, creative felt synonymous with artistic talent, drawing, painting, music, and honestly, my stick figures were never going to win any awards. But the beautiful truth is that creativity isn't just about art. Creativity is about ideas. It's about spotting connections that others might miss, or seeing possibilities and potential where others might not see anything at all. Another hallmark of ADHD brains is the drive for risk-taking and novelty-seeking. And I don't necessarily mean adrenaline-pumping, skydiving level risks, but if that's you, amazing. I'm talking more about everyday entrepreneurial risks. Entrepreneurship is a natural fit because it's literally built on stepping into uncertainty, embracing change, and experimenting as you go. And that same craving for novelty that fuels our brilliance can also lead us into challenges. We might impulsively jump into new ideas because they're exciting in the moment without fully thinking through what comes next. Or we might take on too many projects at once because our brains love the stimulation only to end up overwhelmed and scattered. 3, hyperfocus. We touched on this earlier, but when you're hyperfocused, the world outside almost completely disappears. Hours fly by in what feels like minutes, and you're completely absorbed in whatever you're doing. And hyperfocus is a tricky thing because in theory, it sounds great. It sounds productive and focused, the opposite of scattered. And it can be incredible for getting important projects done or diving into complex tasks. But it can also be completely unpredictable, exhausting, and at times even disruptive. A few weeks ago, I decided to spend a little time after dinner to quickly research what platform I'd host my membership site. It was supposed to be a short, simple task. Except suddenly, I blinked, looked up, and it was 2 a.m. And I hadn't just picked a platform. No, I literally built the entire membership. I had fully committed, set up modules, branding, structure, workflows. The entire thing was basically done, minus filming some welcome videos. And the wildest part is that was not a conscious decision. My brain had taken one small intention, let's just research this one little thing, and turned it into a full-blown mission. That's hyperfocus. It can feel magical and productive, but it also comes at a cost, because usually, after a hyperfocus session, there's a crash, a period of deep fatigue, brain fog, or overwhelm. So these qualities, creativity, adaptability, high risk tolerance, hyperfocus, that make ADHD brains amazing for entrepreneurship, can also make entrepreneurship uniquely challenging. Because here's the reality that I know all too well. Yes, we have endless ideas, but that also means that we have endless distractions. And yes, we can hyperfocus, but we can also lose days obsessing on the wrong tasks while letting those important but boring things pile up. And yes, we thrive on risk, but sometimes that means we impulsively say yes to projects that sound exciting without fully thinking through what they'll take from us, mentally or emotionally. This is the complexity of being an entrepreneur with ADHD. Traditional productivity advice often fails ADHDers. You've probably tried at least a few of these methods yourself. The meticulously designed planners with motivational quotes at the top. Time-blocking schedules filled with color-coded blocks and reminders. The Pomodoro Method apps, gently telling you to take breaks after every 25 minutes of focus. Morning routines, nighttime routines, midday resets, and that ever-elusive perfect system that's supposed to make you magically productive. The problem is that traditional productivity advice is built around assumptions that simply don't apply to you. They assume that your brain likes predictability and thrives on routine. It doesn't. They assume that productivity is a linear, straightforward path. It's absolutely not. They assume that your brain wants structure, clear lines, and consistent effort day after day. And it probably doesn't, at least not consistently. Instead, if your brain is anything like mine, productivity is almost never linear. It comes in waves, bursts, intense sprints. You can achieve remarkable amounts in short periods of time, but it's rarely because you used a planner correctly or a timer perfectly. It's because you worked in harmony with your natural energy, excitement, and interest. You don't have to force yourself into someone else's productivity system. You don't have to keep trying tools that were never built for you. This is why using ChatGPT has genuinely felt life-changing for me. Not because it's magical or perfect, but because for the first time, it felt like something built around the real me, exactly as I am, rather than someone else's idealized version of what I could be. And here's why ChatGPT and tools like it feel so supportive and different. It's personalized, not prescriptive. ChatGPT doesn't come with rigid, predefined plans that demand that you reshape your natural thought patterns or workflows. Instead, it meets you exactly where you are. It adapts to how you actually think and speak. When you use ChatGPT, you're simply having a conversation, responding naturally, honestly, even messily, and it gently helps you clarify your thoughts and next steps. It offers gentle structure without rigidity or judgment. It is always ready to gently guide you back toward clarity, and it gives you just enough structure to ease overwhelm, but never so much that it stifles your energy or creativity. It harnesses your strengths instead of suppressing them. This one is huge because traditional productivity methods so often feel like they are asking us to quiet our brains, slow down our thinking, or neatly organize our minds, something that often feels impossible. But ChatGPT doesn't do that. When you share your ideas with ChatGPT, it does not get overwhelmed by your chaos. It helps you take all your messy, vibrant thinking and translate it into coherent, actionable plans. And finally, it helps you identify the support you actually need. Start exactly where you are. Brain dump encouraged. You don't have to open ChatGPT with your ideas perfectly sorted, planned, or articulated. In fact, please don't. Show up messy. Show up overwhelmed. Just show up exactly as you are right in this moment. And here's what that might look like. Hey ChatGPT, my brain is complete chaos right now. I'm overwhelmed, I have way too many ideas, too many tasks, and I'm honestly feeling stuck. Here's everything that's going through my head. And then you just brain dump. It doesn't have to be neat, coherent, or structured at all. And then step 2, ask ChatGPT to help you clarify or prioritize. If you don't know exactly what you need, that's okay too. Just say that. You could say something like, can you help me see what's most urgent or important from all of this, and maybe identify a few simple next steps that I can take right now? Or if you have no clue what you need, you can say something like, honestly, I'm not even sure what kind of help I need. Can you look at everything I've just shared and suggest what might help me feel clearer or more in control? And it will respond with thoughtful, supportive clarity. It might give you a simplified list or a clear order of priorities, or even just help you see connections or insights that you missed. But no matter what, you will feel clearer than when you started. 3, adjust as you go. Push back. Ask questions. You do not have to take the first response as perfect. If something feels off, unclear, or overwhelming, you can literally say so. You can ask for adjustments, ask for more detail, or ask for a different approach entirely. Like if a suggestion feels overwhelming, you can say, that feels too complicated for me right now. Can you simplify that even more? Or if you're still unclear, you could say, I am still feeling stuck here. Can you ask me some clarifying questions to help me dig deeper into what's actually causing my overwhelm? And this part's pretty crucial because instead of trying to fit your brain into someone else's perfect productivity system, you are helping to shape the system to match your brain. You're co-creating something that's genuinely going to support you. And then step 4, use it regularly. Not because you should or because it's another productivity obligation, but because it actually helps. When you are stuck, overwhelmed, spinning out, or even excited but not sure where to start, open up your ChatGPT and just start a conversation. Over time, you will get more comfortable shaping it to your needs, and it will learn more about how you like to communicate, think, and work. So it's a win-win-win there. By brain dumping without filtering, you're literally offloading that mental chaos and making space for clarity. When you ask ChatGPT to help prioritize, you're letting it do the heavy lifting of sorting, clarifying, and organizing, something that your brain may struggle with. You get clarity without the exhausting mental effort. And when you ask for a single, realistic next step, you're avoiding the overwhelm that usually comes from overly complicated productivity methods or lengthy to-do lists. You're keeping it doable, simple, and immediately actionable, which is exactly what your brain needs in moments of overwhelm. And before we wrap up today, I do want to pause and say something clearly and from the heart, something that I deeply wish someone had said to me years ago when I was struggling hard and feeling like something was fundamentally wrong with me. You are not lazy because you sometimes literally can't make yourself start the things you know you need to do. You are not failing. You're not trying hard enough when you're lying in bed, wrapped in a towel, post-shower, staring at the wall instead of being productive. That's your brain dealing with overwhelm or burnout or executive dysfunction. For a long time, I misunderstood those moments completely. I thought they meant that I was not doing my best, that I wasn't disciplined enough or motivated enough, but you are doing your best. Your best just looks different from day to day. On the days where all you can muster is 20%, then giving 20% energy is doing your best. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And you deserve tools and support that honor you exactly as you are, not tools that demand you become someone else. So that is it for this week. Thank you so much for hanging with me, and I will see you in the next one.